Good morning. Today in our series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis, we take up anxiety. These questions, and many more that we will do in the future, with all answers taken from the words of Sri Aurobindo and Mother, contain the very pressing questions of our youth in school, in university, etc. And we invite your questions on other topics as well. You may write to me at narada12@gmail.com. NARADA12@gmail.com. Anxiety, the Mother answers. With man has begun the constant care about what is going to happen. And this care is the principal or sole cause of his torments. With the objectification of this consciousness have begun anxiety, painful imaginations, care, torment, and the foreseeing of future catastrophes, because of which the greater part of humanity, the most conscious part, and not the least conscious, live in a perpetual torment. Man is too conscious to be indifferent, and he is not enough conscious to know what will happen. It can be truthfully said, without being in the wrong, that of all creatures upon earth, he is the most miserable. The human being is accustomed to be like that because it is an atavistic condition which he inherits from his ancestors. But truly, it is a miserable condition. It is only his spiritual capacity to rise to a higher level and replace the unconsciousness of the animal by the spiritual supra-consciousness that introduces into his being not only the faculty of seeing the goal of life and foreseeing the culmination of his endeavor, but also a clear-seeing trust in a higher spiritual power to which one can give oneself, entrust oneself, hand over the charge of one's life and one's future, and thus abandon all care. And yet, consciousness has been given to man so that he may progress, discover what he does not know, grow into what he is not yet. One can say, therefore, that there is a state higher than that of an immobile and static peace. It is an assurance, all-embracing enough to enable one to maintain the will to progress, to keep it free from all anxiety, from all care about results and consequences. That is one step forward in comparison with the methods that could be called quietist, and which are based on rejection of all activity and merging into an inner immobility and silence, which abandon life because you have felt immediately that without peace you can have no inner realization. And quite naturally, it was thought that one could not have peace so long as one lived under external conditions in the state of anxiety for the problem that is set and cannot be solved because one has not the knowledge how to do it. The next step is to face the problem, but with the calm and certitude that come from an absolute reliance upon the supreme power that knows and that can make you act. Then, instead of abandoning action, one can do the action with a higher peace that is strong and active. That is what can be called a new aspect of the divine intervention in life, a new form of intervention of divine forces in existence, a new aspect of spiritual realization. You must not fear. Most of your troubles come from fear. In fact, 90% of illnesses are the result of the subconscious fear of the body. In the ordinary consciousness of the body, there is a more or less hidden anxiety about the consequences of the slightest physical disturbance. It can be translated by these words of doubt about the future. And what will happen? It is this anxiety that must be checked. Indeed, this anxiety is a lack of confidence in the divine's grace, the unmistakable sign that the consecration is not complete and perfect. Let us live each day without anxiety. Why worry beforehand about something that will probably never happen? One hears every day people complaining, "Oh, this thought is all the while coming to me again and again, and I am unable to get rid of it." And when they are assailed by all sorts of things, from anxiety to bad will, fear, thoughts that express fear are most harassing. You try to send them away. They come back like rubber and fall upon you. Who is it that has control over his thought? It requires years of labor for that. It is such a great habit. Next, to come to this thing which is not complete control yet, but already a step in advance, namely, to be capable of removing all movements in the head, as if with the back of your hand you push aside the vibrations and the surface of your mind becomes smooth. Everything stops. It is like a book that opens on a white page, almost a material whiteness, white. Try a little in yourself. You will see it is very interesting. Inwardly, I have been told this many times, told and shown by small experiences, that the body can bear much more than we think if no fear or anxiety is added to the pain. If we eliminate the mental factor, the body, left to itself, has neither fear nor apprehension nor anxiety about what is going to happen, no anguish, and it can bear a great deal. Again from Mother. Also, what deforms and falsifies is the anxiety for the consequences. To have an absolutely true judgment, you must know how to execute and act without desire. Only 1 in 1,000 can do that. Almost all are anxious about the result, or have the ambition to obtain a result. You must not be anxious about the results. Simply do a thing because you have seen that it is that which must be done. Tell yourself, I am doing this because this is the thing to be done, and whatever may happen afterwards is not my concern. That, evidently, is an ideal, and until it is reached, the action will always be mixed. Therefore, unless you are moved by a clear vision of the truth, you must take as your rule to do always what you have to do, for it is that and nothing else that has to be done. And from Sri Aurobindo, if you entertain a desire, become impatient for the fruits of sadhana, then how will you remain peaceful and silent? A great work like the transformation of human nature, can it be done in a moment? Remain quiet. Let the force of the mother work in you. Then in time, everything will be accomplished. If you remain peaceful within, in a state of surrender, then obstacles and difficulties will not be able to disturb you. Unhappiness and anxiety and why is this not happening? When will it happen? If you allow these feelings to enter into you, then obstacles and difficulties will find strength. Why do you pay so much attention to them? Concentrate on the mother. Remain peaceful and surrendered within. The petty defects of the lower nature cannot be got rid of so easily. It is useless to be agitated over them. When the mother's force fully occupies the entire being, down to the subconscious, they will go. The length of time necessary for that does not matter. The complete transformation requires time. I have repeatedly told you about this, that difficulties do not go in a moment. Difficulties are the results of the outer nature of human beings. This nature does not change in a day or in a few days, not even in great sadhaks. But if you can entirely depend on the mother and aspire to her in silence and calm, and go on without anxiety, then the difficulties can do nothing, even if they come in your way. In time, their force will diminish, perish, and no longer exist. Difficulties matter little. They are nothing but what exists in the outer nature of human beings. Gradually, they will be driven out by the force of the mother. So there is no cause for anxiety or depression. The first thing to do is to keep throughout a perfect equanimity and not to allow thoughts of disturbed anxiety or depression to enter you.